Hi, my name is Julia. I'm the CEO of Cooler, and we are developing refrigerators that are powered by heat instead of electricity, especially for vaccine and medication cooling in remote areas. So we're mainly working for goal 3, but also for 7, affordable and clean energy, because we're using just solar heat to run our refrigerator, and so we're working a lot with solar thermal technology. Mainly our refrigerator works out of the evaporation of water. So you may know the effect when you come out of the water and there's a bit of wind, it's getting immediately cold, and this is the same effect. So water evaporates on your skin, and this is why it's getting cold. And in our refrigerator it's the same, the water evaporates because of really low pressure and soaks out the warmth from the cooling chamber. And on the other side we have a silica gel. And silica gels are small porous glass bowls that you may know when you buy electronics or shoes. There's a small sack of silica gel, and the silica gel soaks the water vapor out of the evaporator and holds it on the surface. So more and more water in the evaporator can evaporate and cool the chamber, and on the other side the silica gel soaks the vapor out. At some point the whole effect stops, because the silica gel is full of water or water vapor and needs to be dried again, and this is what we're using the heat for. So the heat flows through in form of hot water. It flows through the silica gel, makes it hot, and then the water evaporates again and condenses and flows back into the evaporator, and so we have a closed cycle. Yeah, and that's mainly it. So we're just transforming the warmth from the chamber into the silica gel. So we're in the prototyping phase. So we're now working on our last prototype. That means refrigerators have different climate classes, and we want to reach the highest climate class. It means that with 43 degrees Celsius ambient temperature, you can have the 2 to 8 degrees stable in your refrigerator. And that's important for the medicine and vaccines, of course, and it's also important for our refrigerator to gain this goal. And yeah, so this is what we're working at the moment, and in the end of the year or beginning next year, we want to have our first field test in Kenya. So we are now focusing highly on medicine and vaccines, but of course when we have the refrigerator ready, it can cool everything. It's not specific coolness for vaccines. It can also cool agriculture produce or meat or fish or whatever. So sure, that's the next step after vaccines and medication.
Hello, my name is Abdulsamad Zurak, Chief Executive Officer of Zurak Cancer Foundation, and I'm working on the SDG 3. The SDG 3 that is related to my organization, Zurak Cancer Foundation, is we are trying to provide access to oncology healthcare services in Ghana. So what we do is we educate market women on cervical cancer. We have breast cancer projects, and what we are trying to do is we are trying to train community health workers under the community-based health planning and services in Ghana, provide them with basic oncology skills to deliver basic oncology healthcare services at the primary points of healthcare in Ghana. We started our work since 2014, and we are 5 years in operation. So far we have been able to reach as many people as possible. I can't really give specific numbers, but I would say that we are probably above 100,000, and we are stationed in Accra, Kumasi, and Tamale. So we run projects in Accra, where we have our head office, and we have our huge team, and we have our partners also in Kumasi. We also have our partners in Tamale too. So we have a regional directorate in all these 3 regions, and we are trying to develop projects to impact the lives of people, especially when it comes to oncology healthcare services. We have an internally funding model, and also we have been funding our projects through grants and partnership with big corporations. So one of the key area that we're working in, and that is our Visualize project. The Visualize project is we are developing a simulator to train nurses and midwives in Ghana, provide them with skills in visual inspection with acetic acid. So we are using this simulator to simulate the training process, and we are funding it through grants and our partners here in the United States of America. So one of the ways that we also fund our project is through scholarships. So scholarship with big institutions, for example, like the Gates Foundation, through the Goalkeepers. We try to build partnership with these kind of institutions to try to source funding for from them to fund our project.
A non-profit organization that works on helping refugees and immigrants share their own story, tell their own story the way they want. And I was in that book in 2015, and that's where I was so happy to work with this organization. So in our table, we talked about making change, policy change through storytelling, empathy, and working with the community to do those changes. So make it short.
Well, good evening. I don't have a jar of poop with me tonight, or even a jar of mosquitoes, but managing human waste is one of the world's oldest and toughest challenges. And I would say most leaders are not willing to talk about it, in part because the solutions aren't that easy. But we do have to talk about it. We hear a lot about malaria, and we should, because it's devastating and we're making progress. But sanitation-related illnesses kill more kids every year than malaria does. In 2014, Prime Minister Narendra Modi announced the Swachh Bharat mission, a program with the very ambitious goal of eliminating open defecation in India. Before the project, the government estimated that more than 500 million people were defecating in the open. But today, just 5 years later, thanks to the leadership of hundreds of thousands of people in communities across India, the vast majority now have access to safe sanitation. This progress is critical to achieving SDG 6 for water and sanitation, which is lagging far behind. While there is still more work to do to sustain this progress over the long run, we're already seeing the life-saving impact. India's Swachh Bharat mission is already serving as a model for other countries around the world that urgently need to improve access to safe sanitation for the world's poorest. That's why today I'm pleased to be presenting the Global Goalkeeper Award to Prime Minister Narendra Modi for the progress India is making in improving sanitation.
Let's remind ourselves about the progress and success